Hey guys, Sableye here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to rock this Ditto team that I recently used to cut Joe UX9's tour and actually managed to finish second, along with peaking at top 9 on the in-game ladder here. Of course, I've played a lot of games since then, but besides the point, we're going to jump right into things here. I think this team is really fun. If you guys are looking for the team, there will be a team report on Addy's channel. I felt the need to, I don't know, I just felt it was better to keep the, team reports and stuff like that on one channel, right? Like, Addy asked, I figured it was cool to send over. Addy's channel is great, guys, so if you're not already checking out or subscribed to Addy, make sure to check them out. The link will be down below, and the video link will either be down below or on the screen somewhere right now with the full team report of this Ditto team. Now, let's get into things right here. So, Ditto's always been one of those Pokemon that comes in restricted formats, you know? Whether you're copying boosted Xerneas, this now more relevant these days, now you're copying Calyrex Shadow, and you're getting your own choice scarf out of it. You're copying Zacians, and you're getting your +2 out of it. You're getting a +2 Zacian, basically, which is kind of disgusting. And Ditto is definitely going to make an appearance here. I think I play the game somewhat standardish. Like, I think that would be a standard game plan here. You can arguably bring Incineroar to hinder their Zacian to this matchup. I just think the team is meant to go hyper offense, and that's what I'm going to do here. So what I want to do is put on a bunch of pressure down early. Now, generally speaking, when they have Grimmsnarl, you have to be smart with your Zacian, because you can trade Zacian for Grim, right? But then you've lost Zacian. Now, with Ditto, like, I have an extra third restricted, you know, technically. If I'm smart about it, I have a third restricted. Right? So, I can afford to get aggressive immediately with one of my restricteds, just to take a piece that's going to wreck the other restricted, and then focus in, right? Like, here, I would normally probably still kill Grimmsnarl anyways, so it doesn't really come into play here. But if they were to pressure Zacian, let's just say, you know, they could also pressure, they could just decide, hey, T-Wave's the play. I'm going to paralyze this Zacian, which normally I would be concerned about. I'm not too concerned about right now. I get my Tailwind up with my Whimsicott, unless they fake out for whatever reason. But if they fake out, I just pivot Ditto in. So, like, and I literally kill the Grimmsnarl. A team like this shouldn't have fake out on Grimmsnarl. It should be Spirit Break or Foul Play both screens and Thunder Wave or Scary Face. That should be what this Grimmsnarl is. There should be no real change up in those moves, at least on the Zacian Ogre, the common Zacian Ogre. Because I mean, I guess you could try it, but I think the other 4 moves are just way more consistent. Speed control, attacking move, screens. I think that's what you need on Kyogre or Zacian. We're gonna get Tailwind up. Yep, no fake out. We're gonna see probably what I'm assuming is a reflect, maybe some sort of speed control. There it is. Like I said, they're gonna play speed control immediately, which I don't mind that I'm paralyzed here. Obviously, it's not the best spot to be in. As long as I actually get the attack off, we're good. So the attack does go off. We are going to kill the Grim, so no screens from my opponent, which I think is a misplay from my opponent's end. I don't know. I value screens a lot more than I would paras here if I was my opponent. Just because against hyper offense, if you can slow me down, you're doing so much more work. You know, it's doing so much more work than actually just potentially paralyzing me. Because as you saw, I'm already the faster Zacian, and I have Tailwind up anyways. Right? Like, granted, we might have been a speed tie. I might have missed the Intrepid Sword immediately. I definitely did miss the Intrepid Sword trigger on turn 1, but it's fine with Tailwind up. Well, no, we already know I'm faster because they paralyzed me. I had Tailwind up and I still moved first. So it's either a speed tie or I'm faster, despite the fact that I'm paralyzed right now. So as long as I'm not getting fully paralyzed here, screens were more value to my opponent, you know? And I think 75% of the time I'm not getting fully paralyzed, screens are just the right play. This is where things get interesting now. So recently a lot of people have been maxing Incineroar against me, and I think that really does hinder this team quite a bit. Now, this is tough because what I want to do is actually Helping Hand and hit the Sacred Sword, but I think for reasons I just want to get chip damage on this instant if I can. Just getting a Sacred Sword off into it as soon as possible. Obviously it's not going to be a Helping Hand Sacred Sword because that doesn't really help me if they just fake out Zacian, right? They also might max the cat. Like I was saying, I have seen a few max cats. I played one in top 8 of Joe's tour, All 3 games, they just Dynamaxed Instant, and my team can't handle that. Landorus is definitely a change-up I would make. Probably over Instant, because you still get the Intimidates, which is all Instant is really on the team for, just a comfort Intimidator. I don't need the Fire-type moves. Right? They're actually going to protect the Zacian. That's fine. I didn't target it. So, seeing the protect on Zacian, to me, means they're not max. Well, obviously they didn't max, but... Fake out protect. See, I don't agree with that. Like, at all. Because now I get a big Sacred Sword off. I bring in Calyrex. I cannot copy through the substitute, which is why I'm not bringing in Ditto, in case anybody's questioning that. Otherwise, Ditto was definitely the play there. And as long as this Sacred Sword connects, and I get damage into this instant here, we should be in a very good spot. Beautiful. The Sacred Sword is going to go out, going to do good damage. And at this point, this is where Sash is nice, right? Because they have to be a little bit concerned about Calyrex here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Astral Barrage and drop a good old Sacred Sword. As long as, once again, as long as I'm not getting parried, we're good. I'm Focus Sash, so if they're going to Behemoth Blade to Calyrex, they're gaining not a lot of traction here. Calyrex is going to Astral Barrage, is going to break that sub. Ideally crits and kills the instant. That would be take out all question marks in this game. But we do fade that substitute, which is really nice. Zacian, please. Okay. Zacian, please. Going to get that Sacred Sword. And like I said, screens should have been my opponent's value. You know, they should have valued screens. If they have screens, I'll bring instant in. My Zacian effectively doesn't do a whole lot. Right? And they're actually going to hit my Zacian again. So I don't know why they're not scared of this Calyrex. Maybe, once again, they're still banking on a para. At least to me, that's what it seems. Right? At least to me, it's... I need a paralysis here. We better hope we get it, kind of thing, you know? To me, that seems like what they're going for. Now I have a little bit of a dilemma here still, right? There's one more turn of Tailwind. Yeah, there's one more turn of Tailwind. So the question is, does my opponent protect? Are they their own Scarf Kyogre? How do I want to play this? Does Zacian protect? Zacian should protect on this last turn of Tailwind, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go for the Phantasm. And I think I just Behemoth Blade, and I Play Rough. And I double the Kyogre. Because there's a chance Kyogre's Scarfed and can't protect. And getting that kill is more important. Or at least lowering the Kyogre anyways, I feel is more important. Because like at this point, they're in a problematic spot. Regardless of which target they're targeting. Right? If they kill the Calyrex this turn, I still get big damage off, you know? And if they don't kill Calyrex this turn, well then they're leaving my Calyrex on the field Dynamaxed, you know? And then I get Ogre in beside it, and I get a Scarf Ogre. Right? They're gonna max, that's fine, should probably be the Ogre. But Phantasm, Behemoth Blade would have been the proper play had I called the max. They also might just max guard this turn. Right, which would also be a really good play for them. But once again, I think they're likely to try and stall out this Tailwind. I don't know what part of me thinks that or why, but no protects on either of my opponent's 2 Pokemon here. So we're going to get the Phantasm into this Kyogre. Still going to do some pretty good damage. And in order to kill both, you actually have to double. You can't kill both. There's no way my opponent can kill both Pokemon here. Zacian's going to get the Play Rough. I am actually going to miss, which is a little unfortunate. And Zacian is going to Behemoth Blade. Now, did they double this Calyrex? I feel like they wouldn't. I actually lived that without the Sad. Which is kind of funny. And Max Geyser's coming out. I should die. Yeah, they should take out Cali there, right? Cali's the target they take out. So this game's actually not over. Depending on how bulky their Zacian is. Because I have to lock myself into Water Spout. Actually, hold up. It is over because I copied Zacian. What am I saying? I still have... Never mind. I still have Caught. I think Ditto's just arguably better. Is it though? This is actually tough. Because Caught brings me Tailwind, but loses me the game if I get fully paralyzed. Whereas Ditto comes in and I think I just have to make a call. But I think I think Behemoth Blade kills the Ogre. Personally myself. I think Behemoth Blade kills the Ogre. Now, the other thing is, I think either of these 2 Behemoth Blades are going to kill this Ogre. Actually, hold up. That Ogre has a lot more health than I thought it did. That Ogre has a lot more health than I thought it did. Obviously, Protect doesn't work. The question is, does their Zacian protect? And I think it might, but I keep calling that, and it never happens. So we're going to Behemoth Blade. I'm going to double Behemoth Blade to Kyogre. This is potentially a throw if they max guard the Ogre. But that's what I expected there. The protect from the Zacian was what I expected, right? Just because my Zacian scares it. Ditto's going to get the Behemoth Blade. I am +2. They are -1 defense. Ditto is good, guys. Happy we got to do that happy we got to do that in the episode, you know? Happy we got to do that. Anyways, Behemoth Blade's going to go into the protect, but now I just win. Right, they needed to double attack there. Double attacking was their best play. Because Ditto was dying. Unless, sorry, not Ditto, but the my brain needs to slow down. The Kyogre on their side of the field was going to die there every time. Their Kyogre was dying every time. That is a +2 Zacian into a -1 defense Kyogre, and that was just game. Right, like they were banking on living. Because if they do live that, which I get, right? If they live that, it works for them. Because they get my Ditto down. Right? But I think the best play there is just to double attack, especially since my Zacian is -1 attack. Or in this case, neutral because I got the initial boost. But it just still seemed odd, you know? Like, I just feel like double attack gives them a better out. Obviously, they are in a very good spot if they catch me going after Zacian instead. Right? But because both targets were a threat to me, I figured it was more likely that they were going to protect their non-Dynamax user and let the Dynamax user do the damage. But anyways, 460. Actually, although, hold up, never mind, because they were -1 defense, so my Zacian still threatens their Zacian with a kill. Yeah, so I guess regardless, I'm still winning that. But we'll see. This is kind of hyper offense right back at me. But there's no Tailwind. And with no Tailwind on my opponent's team, Whimsicott Calyrex becomes an amazing lead. Zacian, of course, and honestly, I think I just matched the hyper offense with my own hyper offense Ditto. These are the 4 you bring more often than not, guys. Just, you want your speed control to match opposing speed control, so Ditto in the late game can sleep still. Or you have eject button pressure. These are the 4 you're bringing most of the time. The other 2 do have uses, just not as often. I think I brought Incineroar like maybe 3, maybe 4 times throughout the entire tour, which is kind of questionable. But like, I don't think it's Incin is a great slot, you know? Like, this team should be going Burr, you know? But let's see what they go for. They're going to go Caly Thundy, which I'm more than okay with because I'm Sash Caly. So, I'm going to eject button the Thundy because it doesn't really matter. If they max it, we're going to stop them. And I can always just Tailwind. I can't Tailwind. Yeah, I can because I can just. I was going to say I can't Tailwind next turn because I'm going to get eject button out. Obviously, this Thundy could protect, and that could backfire a little bit. But at that point, if they do go for that, I bring in Whimsicott and get Scarf Thundy to break their stash on Caly. Right? So what I do, this is fairly safe. I go for that, and I go Astro Barrage. There's not a whole lot they can do here about this. This is just going to do big damage regardless of where they go. And this is what I like about this team. It's with Astro Barrage and eject button, I don't have to like all in on one target, you know? Are they actually going to fall for this? If this is Thundy, this is game over, I think. If this is Thundy, it's game over. Okay. Now, it's nice when they don't know about eject button, right? Because they don't expect eject button. It's just a really disgusting game. You know? Like, look, Thundy's going to max here. Thundy's gone. And if they're not let's say they're not Sash, and I can win a speed tie, the game's just 100% over. We're going to take Assault Vest, so I can't actually match Tailwinds. I do win a speed tie, though. Get the Astro Barrage. They are indeed Sash, so taking the Assault Vest sucked. It was a little rough, but it does keep Whimsicott alive at the very least. See how much this actually does with their Calyrex here. Obviously going to bring me to Sash. Thundy's off the field, so they've lost their Dynamax now. However, okay, Incin is once again the correct play. Once again, I think Incin is the correct Dynamax against this team. Like, Incin is just the correct thing to max here. As dumb as maxing Incin feels. Oh. Oh. I have questions. I have questions. There are questions that I do have. Questions are definitely something I have right now. I'm going to Dazzling Gleam because I think they have to double Cali. And I'm going to Protect. And they're actually going to hard switch the caly-s out. That's fine. Thunderous comes back in. That's okay. This should be a dark move. I guess they could Flare. They could Flare Blitz and take out my my Caught, which would actually be a really good play, calling my Protect. And that is a very good play. That is a very good play. So the good news is here I can actually copy the instant and get an Intimidate and get Fake Out Pressure on the field. It's problematic because I'm still at... This is actually really tough. Why was it Trick Room Cali? Just as I was talking about too, as if they don't know about a Juck button. I guess it's one of the things if they don't know about Trick Room. So Trick Room Cali kind of throwing me for a loop here. Now, I think my best pivot out of this is bring in Ditto, fake out the Incineroar, switch my Calyrex into Zacian, and make the pivot that way. I think that's the best course of scenario, best way to stall out Trick Room here. Obviously, I give this Thundy a boost, which is not what you want to see, ever. The other thing I could do is max the Ditto right now as the cat. Which is actually very tempting, right? Because they were also Calyrex. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to max Flare the Thunderous and pivot into Zacian over here. Because this should be a dark move into the Calyrex slot now. So that's not too big of a concern. They can't max. It's kind of dumb, I'm aware. But I honestly think it's probably my best max right now and my best course of action to get out of Trick Room. If I can get out of Trick Room, then we're alright. I also think their Calyrex may not be max speed. If they're going to be focused at Trick Room, they don't want to be playing to tie the next turn as well, right? So they're going to just be slower. I would anyways. So I think they're not max speed on their Calyrex, meaning I should probably be faster with Cali if we can just stay out of Trick Room. I'm really banking on this killing Thunders. Maybe it doesn't. Like, maybe it doesn't, right? They could also try to Parting Shot. I don't think Parting Shot helps them. I think it should be a dark move into my Zacian here. If we can kill this Thundy, though, I think we're in a really good spot. Beautiful. Okay, Thunderous is gone. Incineroar. I guess they could Flare Blitz now into Sun, which is concerning. Because that will probably take me out. But they're not going to Flare Blitz a Calyrex. It should be a dark move. Yeah. Perfect. So we're going to see the dark move. Throat Chop, of course, not going to be too big of a concern. We're going to eat that up pretty well. And Ditto coming in clutch right now. In all honesty, Ditto is very, very key at actually copying Instant and getting out of Trick Room this way is actually putting in work. Because look at this. I even have Flare into the Zacian right now. Which is kind of funny. And I just go for it. There's no reason for me not to go for it, you know? There is zero reason for me not to. Because what are they going to do? Parting Shot? They could Flare Blitz my Zacian, but I don't care. I'm just going to Protect. Like, we're probably both going to Protect, and they'll probably Parting Shot off of my Instant, and then cycle their Instant around. Which is the best play they can make. But Max Flare is still going into Zacian here. I'm either the slower Zacian, or they're not protecting. I am the slower Zacian, so that's good to know. They're probably going to Parting Shot my Instant. But thankfully, I do win the speed tie here, which is nice. Max Flare coming out, going to connect into this Zacian for some big damage. I like that damage. That is really good damage. Really good damage. And they are going to Parting Shot Instant as expected. Okay. I can still lose this game if I'm not smart. So I do have to be smart about it. Now, I think they switch Zacian out into the Incineroar because that's the Flare switch in. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to Darkness the Calyrex. Because if they do stay in with Zacian and I Darkness and I can get the kill, that means that their Zacian is actually going to be slow. So, or he's going to be -1 special defense. And I just Behemoth Blade it on the off chance they do decide to stay in. I think Zacian goes into Instant. I think that's the best place in it, best play for my opponent. I was going to Sacred Sword. I am tempted to Sacred Sword. It's not worth it to make that call all in. Because at the end of the day, they don't gain anything out of hard switching Instant in right now. Because they're still taking big damage. And like they're going to run out of Trick Room turns eventually. Right? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do here. Which is why I went for the straight play, because if they don't switch and I call the switch, it's a little bit problematic. But if I just take big damage, I take big damage. Yeah, they are gonna make the switch. It was probably to be expected, but this means the caly-s is dead here. This means they've given me the caly-s, which is exactly what I wanted, right? Because now I've pinned them. I still have my caly-s in the back, which I believe is still sashed, if I'm not mistaken. That crit's a little annoying for them, but it was into the single target line. Like, the crit, what am I saying? The crit it had 1 HP. What am I talking about? Never mind. I'm speaking nonsense right now, guys. Excuse me. Anyways, Behemoth Blade obviously not going to do any sort of crazy damage. I actually did more than I was expecting, to be honest. That crit? Okay, that one matters. See, I was ahead of myself. I was ahead of what was happening. So, here's where things get interesting now. Zacian's still in a very, very nice position. Now, the thing I can do here is Ditto wins me this game. I don't necessarily need caly-s to win me this game. So what I want to do is I want to protect and actually switch the Ditto out right here. Because I think they have to go after Zacian, because right now Zacian threatens this instant with a kill. So I'm going to keep it alive, and if worst case scenario, right, they take out caly-s here, Ditto comes right back in and just says, hi, how you doing? Takes their Zacian, I get the +2, and then I Behemoth Blade the Zacian, and I drop the instant and the game's over. Whereas here, if they leave caly-s, and they don't want Ditto to copy Zacian, caly-s is going to put up too much damage. Instant is indeed going to click Fake Out. They are going to probably Behemoth Blade as well. Oh, sub. Doesn't help them. It does if Zacian dies. If Zacian dies to a Behemoth Blade, it's problematic, but not the end of the world, because I still, once again, copying instant is still just as fine. Because then I can just fake out Astral Barrage again. Right? Like, I'm still fine here. They have to Behemoth Blade my Zacian right now and hope they kill. Given the fact that they're faster, I would assume they have less attack than I do. So they're either going to be A, Jolly, or B, just max speed Adamant. Instant's actually going to hang on from that. That's okay. Zacian sub is going to fade. What are we going to see from their Zacian? Behemoth Blade. Okay. Into what, though? If they hit caly-s, it's game over. They do hit the caly-s. This game is over, because if they Flare Blitz now, it's not enough. Because, like, they kill Zacian with a Flare Blitz, right? Cool. That's fine. They've left Cali on the field, and we're good. But the instant's actually dead, because I forgot about my Sacred Sword pressure. I'm going to give you guys another game. I think this team is probably still going to be able to do it within 30-minute mark. Just the third game doesn't seem bad here. We're still relatively early on. So, Astral Barrage is going to come out. Behemoth Blade is going to come out. Like, if they don't want Ditto to copy their Zacian, they have to kill my Zacian here, and that ignores the caly-s, and then caly-s wins the game. If they kill the caly-s, my Behemoth Blade wins the game. So, they're effectively pinned here. Yep. Battle was canned. They are effectively pinned. There was nothing they could have done. And we take that W. So 2-0 today's video, which is a pretty good showing of this Ditto team, I think. I think the problem with this Ditto team is you have to get your turns correct. And that's not the easiest thing to do when you're not able to make safe switches, right? Making safe switches isn't the easiest feature of this team. It's not like I have a switch into everything. I don't. My switch in that game was switching in Ditto to copy an instant. And that's like an extreme measure. I've done it before. And I think I did it in the tournament once. But like, that should be like worst case scenario. You should be doing that. Or only when it really calls for it. Okay, caly-s is about to go burr right here. I'm a little worried about instant still. But I am just going to go Ditto. I almost don't want to lead Cali. I think leading Cali is too obvious, right? Like, I almost want my own instant. And no Ditto, because they're probably going to go Trick Room, right? Like, copying either of them doesn't really help me here. Like, copying anything on my opponent's team doesn't help me. So we're going to bench Ditto this game and see what happens. I mean, the game plan is still get rid of the Eviolite off the Porygon. Like, get the Eviolite off Porygon. and pivot around from there. Right? Even if they don't necessarily switch out with the eject button right away, just getting rid of Eviolite makes it so much easier for Zacian to deal with. There's P2 what? P2 Duskmane. I'm okay with this. Caught instant. Obviously, Duskmane would have been able to take anything from... from the caly-s because of the Prism Armor ability. It's Prism Armor, right? That's the ability. They are going to trace Intimidate, which is better than them tracing Prankster. So... Necrozma shouldn't be maxing at -1. So here's the thing. I think I switcheroo the P2 and I parting shot to Necrozma here. I think it's a fairly safe play. Yes, they're going to get Trick Room, but what this allows me to do is just... Actually, you know what would be funny? If they double Trick Roomed. Because I can legitimately see them doing that too. If they think that I'm going to fake out one of the 2 slots or taunt one of the 2 slots, they potentially double Trick Room here. I mean, either way, I think Calyrex is pretty safe here. I don't want to really risk Zacian into a potential Earthquake or an Earth Power from the Necrozma. It's not the safest mod, but we're going to bring it in. We'll see what happens here. Double Trick Room? Show me the double Trick Room. You know you want to do it. I think it's too much of a risk for my opponent to take. I don't think we will see it. Oh. SD, and now they're going to Trick Room? Right, now they Trick Room? Yo? Okay, I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. No Trick Room went up, and that's the more important part. There's neutral attack. I'm just going to spam an Astral Barrage and a Dazzling Gleam here. Dazzling Gleam knocks this P2 off the field, which is what I want to see. I could be giving them a boost at this point on this Necrozma, but I think they have to try and Trick Room at some point, right? At some point, their game plan looks like, hey, let's click Trick Room. So what's going to happen here is P2 is going to get forced off the field. I would presume the instant comes in. Calyrex's Astral Barrage isn't going to do big damage. And I'd like to try and force the max out here, but we'll see. They're going to just stay on the field, so that's a little unfortunate. I did kind of expect to switch out there from the Necro. They're going to take that very well, actually. And they are indeed weakness policy. So I guess, in theory, I switcheroo that item there, and it puts me in a little bit of a better spot, but... I mean, I'm still sashed, so unless they're clicking Trick Room, they don't really gain all that much here. Porygon gets forced off the field. We're going to probably see it has to be instant, right? Unless you had a... I guess Groudon could come in, depending on what your game plan is right now. It shouldn't be Groudon, but... I don't know what they're... I don't know what they're trying to kill here. That's instant, right? Oh, it's Groudon. Okay, sure. So, I guess their game plan was bring in Groudon, which seems kind of odd. Trick Room? It's got to be, right? There's the Trick Room. Okay. So, the Trick Room was coming up from one of my opponent's mods at some point in this game, right? It was going to happen. Now, how do I want to play this? Where's the max and what are they going to max? I think I just let Cock go down. I'd almost want to switcheroo just because there's really no better play for me. Like, chip damage doesn't really help all that much. I do need to get out of Trick Room to some extent. And protecting Cali should allow me to survive anything on the following turn. Unless they max and max move into the Cali, which becomes problematic. So is it actually better to pivot instant on that slot? I don't know. Let's see if we can catch a Sunsteel Strike here. They could just Earthquake or Max Quake and Dazzling Gleam and P-Blades, and I'd probably lose instant here. But we get them back to +1. They're back. They're getting hindered. I need to find a way to stall out Trick Room. Protect on Whimsicott would be cool, but I don't think I can afford it. The other moves are more important. Rock Slide actually comes out. So Kott's going to survive, which is really, really good there. Now the question is P-Blade's going to double connect? It is going to double connect, so I'm losing both pieces. And I guess this is why I didn't want to switch instant in the first place, you know? And this is why when my opponent gets Trick Room up, Trick Room is a very rough matchup for this team. Like, cycling out of Trick Room, just... The cycle out of it doesn't exist, right? So the question is, you've got to assume I'm going to protect my Zacian here. Right? And if they're assuming I'm going to protect my Zacian, can I get away with maxing the Calyrex? not protecting Zacian, and max guarding. I think, does that play pull me back into this? Or do I assume that, do I need them to choke? Hold up. I still like the max, honestly, I still like the max guard here. The question is, what do I do into, I don't know if this Necro maxes at this range. I feel like the Groudon should be the max to take it. Okay, hold up. I think Groudon actually maxes to take out Zacian here. And I need to make a play to pull me back into this one. So we're going to do it this way. Obviously, I'm so far behind. I need to make a call right now, guys. No protect. So they're just going to Rock Slide and Precipice Blades again. Correct Sun Steel Strike. Okay, so we've got to dodge. Our Wind Con now becomes dodge. So protecting... did they forget they were -1? Which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Or did... Oh. Oh. Okay, so double attacking actually would have just been the better play. Anyways, Astro Barrage is going to come out from this Cali right now. Should kill the Necrozma. Take a threat off the field. It does. And that leaves Groudon pretty low as well. Now, if I can somehow, you know, dodge a P-Blades, game isn't over. The problem is P2 comes in. Or not. Or not. I don't know why they don't go immediately into P2 right there. I feel like they really should. What is there? 2 turns left of the room? Yeah, there's still 2 turns left of the room, so I need a double. And max guard gets me out of this, if I can successfully get it. I need a double here. I might actually need a triple on Zacian as well, because they're going to max Groudon here every day of the week, and I don't think they even fake out. I think they just max Quake into my Zacian and Dark Move into my... Like, I'm too far behind. You know? I'm too far behind to pull this one back at this point, unless I get double moves. Unless I get double protects here. I need to force them to go into Zacian next turn. If I can force them into Zacian next turn for 1 move, I might have enough to pull myself out of this. But we'll see. I think it's super unlikely that I ever come anywhere close to getting out of this. Because, like, Calyrex isn't killing Incin, you know? It's just not going to happen. Especially not with 2 turns left of the room. Zacian's going to protect. It's not going to go off. It's going to fail. We're going to get the max guard, and this game's over. So, had I double attacked last turn, I would have actually probably won the game. Because Groudon would have been gone. There's the Quake. I'm going to go into this Zacian to take me down, unfortunately. And, yeah. That's all but said and done, guys. I mean, even if I get a double max guard, I'm not winning this game. They're Quake boosting this Incineroar, so I'm going to click the forfeit button. There's no pivot out of this. And my loss in this game was letting them get Trick Room up. And in best of 1, not knowing where the Trick Room's going to be and when they're going to click it becomes problematic, right? Obviously, like, I knew both P2 and Necrozma were going to have it. It was a question of when they were going to click it, you know? Like, because I could have Dazzling Gleam and Max Phantasm that turn. And I wonder if that would have picked up the Necrozma. Right? Does that pick up Necrozma? Right? How do you... That's one of those ones where you don't really know the answer to that question, but... With that, guys, I'm not going to ramble on too much here. 2-1 in today's episode with Ditto, which is pretty cool. If you guys do want to try the team or hear what I have to say about the team, as I mentioned earlier, Team Report is on Addy's channel. And if you're not already subscribed to Addy's channel, I don't know what you're doing. It's a very great resource. You should get over there. Go click that subscribe button on Addy's channel. And if you wanted to click that subscribe or like button on this video, I would appreciate it as well. And I will catch you guys in a future video.